Good morning. Gotta wash my face. I do lots of things. I'm making pancakes. Well, I'm making pancakes. I'm making waffles in my waffle maker, which is nice when you have family my size to just kind of make waffles. But anyway. Morning. Still rocking real life mom bun here. Total makeup off. But I was watching a video of, my neighbors are so weird. I swear. My two closest neighbors are so fucking weird. Anyway, I was watching this one video of Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V's, where, and he says this a lot. He says this in almost like every video that I've ever seen him post. Like, how people need to get real quiet and only hear their own voice in the things that they do in life. How they need to stop listening to their parents or their aunts or their uncles or their neighbor or their friend or their ex-best friend or their worst enemy. How you need to zero out everybody else's voices and really only pay attention to or attune to your voice in your own head, right? Like, your opinions, it's your life, it's how you, and you know what? My grandmother said this, too. She's like, you shouldn't let anybody else dictate the choices that you make in your own life, because they're not the ones that have to deal with the consequences. That was the most impactful part, I think, about what my grandma had to say to me. She's like, when you think about it, she's like, if you constantly seek everybody's approval in the things that you do and all of that, she's like, here's the thing. Here's like, if it goes pear-shaped, if it goes belly up, it's you that has to deal with the outcome of that, not everybody else. So, like, you're letting everybody else's opinions dictate how something goes for you, and then you're left holding the bag if it doesn't go well. You're the only one affected by those choices that you made, but you made all those choices dependent primarily on other people and not on yourself. So, like, that's where I think all of, like, most of our, like, hatred and despisement comes from for other people. It's like, it's not necessarily in what they directly do, it's what they make us feel like we should do, or what their influence is on what we do. And that's not fair, because, I mean, like, they can influence you all you want, but you're the one being influenced. So, I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, there's the flip side of that, where you zero in on only your voice and you make sure that the only thing that you're telling yourself is positive. Like, make sure that things that you tell yourself are productive things that are going to move you forward. Because if your voice is also doubting you, if your voice is also telling you that you're not good enough, then it doesn't matter if you zero out everybody else's voices. You're still going to feel as though you aren't going to get anywhere. Your voice has to be positive too. But it's really straight up the way that he's like, stop fucking listening to anybody else. Stop listening to everybody else. Stop listening to that one person who doesn't have your back, who's not willing to be there for you when you fall, if you fall. Stop listening to all of the other. And then I got to thinking about it, I'm like, if you really think about it, it's like you're letting your path be affected by everyone who's the exact opposite of your target market. If someone's giving you negative advice, if someone's telling you what to do, what not to do, if someone is negatively impacting that, what I've got to say about it is that you're listening to people who are the furthest from your target market. If they're not your target market, then you shouldn't be listening to them no matter what it is. Like, stop feeling like you have to be influenced, and what you do and what you don't do has to be influenced by people who are so far outside of your target market, it doesn't even matter. Because if they got something negative to say, they're not your target market. And your target market cannot have access to you if you are only listening to people who are outside of your target market. So that's a real decent, like, obvious kind of like duh thing when you think about it. Like, all those people standing in your way, they're not your target market. It's like they're saying you can't have my people. And it's like, I don't want your people. This thing that I'm doing, if you were meant to be successful with it, you would have done it or be doing it. You're not doing it. I am. Because it's my life, not yours. And maybe this would not have been successful for you because you don't want it. And if whatever somebody doesn't want for themselves, they are not going to give a shit about whether or not you want it for you. And they're not going to give a shit about supporting you in it. And I think that's where people get so screwed up, because support isn't tolerance. And it's not enabling. And support isn't assisting. Support is support. It's really simple. It's really simple. Support is actually very simple. It is really simple to give somebody support, and it is really simple to have truly supportive people in your circle. You just have to legitimately stop giving a damn about whoever's not supportive. Like, there is a big difference between who's truly supporting you and who's just tolerating it. Tolerance isn't support. Not directly standing in your way does not automatically mean support. Like, support is support. It's there. It will be there for you, especially in your failures, no matter what the size. That's, I think, the biggest part about support. Support will be there to pop a bottle of champagne when you do well, and support will be there to make sure that you've got a soft place to land if you fail, and to be a sounding board. And they won't have an opinion on they'll never say what you should have done. You know what I mean? There's never going to be a negative connotation like, you did that wrong. Support won't say that. Or, well, if you would have done it like this. Support won't say that. Support will say, hey, what if you? Or, how about, have you thought about trying? Or, maybe you could. That's what support sounds like. Support is, in fact, not, well, I mean, you should have known that wasn't going to work. Or, well, of course that didn't work because you did this wrong. That's not support. There's a big difference. And it's those voices when anything negative at all that's told to you, automatically discount it. They're not your target market. They're not your support. And if they can stand face to face with you or on any platform and spew negativity, they don't care about your success. And I'm sorry, but if someone doesn't care about your success, then they don't need to be around you at all. Because, like, say you get to the point where you're nothing but successful. If they don't care about your success, they're not going to be there when you're successful, so why are you letting them be there now? Like, you feel like you got to carry them around? You don't. You don't got to carry anybody around. People have to pull their own weight. They have to walk their own steps. They have to do their own thing. They have to participate. And if they are not positively participating, you don't need them around. You just don't. You don't need to celebrate with them. You don't owe anybody negative anything, except for the joy of watching you walk away from them so they can be negative with themselves. They've got stuff they got to work on. That's not your stuff. It's not your stuff. So what if your circle gets small? Have a small, valuable circle. Not a large, fucked up one, in my opinion.